The World Health Organization is meeting in the next few hours to reconsider whether to declare China's coronavirus outbreak a global health emergency. Coronavirus has now spread to every region in China. The number of people who have now died has risen to 170, with more than 7,700 people infected. 16 countries outside China are affected. India is the latest to confirm a coronavirus case in its southern state, Kerala. And in the past hour, Russia has said it will stop issuing visas to Chinese nationals. As global concerns spread, major international sporting events are either being moved or taken out of China. The Chinese Football Association has announced no games will be played this season, while the indoor World Athletics has been postponed for a year. Drastic measures to contain the virus are continuing to have huge disruption on people's lives in China. Wuhan, the city at the heart of the outbreak, is usually bustling with people, but as you can see, now resembles a ghost town. All roads into and out of the city remain sealed off, and the Chinese authorities have announced additional travel measures today.
Buses going to Hubei province have been suspended completely. 16 provinces have suspended intra-provincial long-distance coaches. Wuhan city and other 5 cities have suspended rail transportations, and such suspension of public transportation network has triggered great public concern.
Well, governments around the world have been evacuating nationals who've been stuck in China. Let's take you live to Shanghai and talk to our correspondent, Robin Brandt, who is there for us. Robin, welcome to you. How successful or not are these evacuations going?
Well, for the Americans, it's working out OK. They're planning another airlift next week. We learned from the State Department in the last hour or so. The Japanese as well. They took some 200 or so of their citizens in the last 24 hours, and there will be at least 2 more flights, I think. The Brits haven't had success, and effectively the problem for them has been bureaucratic hurdles, because the Chinese didn't give permission for the flight to leave, because they at one stage wanted just British citizens on the flight. We understand there were problems involving the partners of some British people who were Indonesian, for instance, or were citizens from other countries. So that is what the problem has been for the British flight. The Foreign Office is saying it is dealing with it urgently. It's optimistic that the flight will be able to leave Wuhan on Friday, taking some 200 or so people back to the UK. And also it's hopeful that British citizens will be on board with their partners, irrespective of where they are from.
Robin, we know that in the next few hours the World Health Organization are meeting to discuss whether to declare this a global health emergency. What impact will it have if they do?
Well, look, it's interesting because we had the head of the World Health Organization in Beijing 48 hours ago, full of nothing but gleaming praise for China, for its efforts in trying to contain and combat this type of coronavirus, and also for President Xi Jinping personally, who has made it clear that he is steering this effort. But on the other hand, they're on the brink of perhaps deciding that this emergency is not just a Chinese domestic matter, it extends beyond the borders of mainland China and is indeed a global issue. Now, if that were to be the case, it's likely that we are going to see new protocols coming in terms of international travel and more cooperation as well.
OK, for now, Robin, thank you. Well, let's go to the BBC's Mariko Oy, who is in Hong Kong, where some trains to mainland China have been suspended. Mariko, welcome to you. We heard this time yesterday from the Chief Executive of Hong Kong trying to introduce new measures to contain the virus, stop it getting to Hong Kong. How are those now impacting on movement there?
Well, Samantha, I'm standing outside West Kowloon Station, which is usually very busy because this is where all the high-speed rail from mainland China usually arrive and depart from. But as of midnight local time, all railway services have been suspended, as well as ferries. We also know that 6 out of 14 border crossings have been shut in order to reduce the number of buses entering the city. The number of flights have been halved as well. So the authorities are really trying to reduce the number of Chinese visitors by some 70%. And to give you an idea on how many people usually come here, roughly 140,000 each day. And even though these measures are somewhat unprecedented, critics say that they don't go far enough. They want all the borders to be closed.
OK, Mariko Oi in Hong Kong for now. Thank you. Well, the BBC has been given exclusive access to scientists in the US racing to develop a vaccine for the new coronavirus. They are working at record speed to try and come up with a vaccine that will protect people against the deadly disease as the number of people infected in China soars. Inovio Pharmaceuticals has told the BBC that it plans to start human trials by the early summer. The BBC's global health correspondent Tulip Mazumdar reports from their labs in San Diego.
Developing a new vaccine can take years, sometimes decades, but international research facilities all around the world, like this one here in San Diego, are trying to come up with a vaccine for the new coronavirus in record time. Let's find out how they're doing it. So this is Dr. Kate Broderick. Hello, Kate. She heads up research and development here at Inovio, and you can tell us about how you even start creating a vaccine. How does it work?
Absolutely, Tulip. So what you're looking at here is the actual DNA sequence of the virus from the outbreak in China. We received this virus sequence when the Chinese authorities put it online. We downloaded it. We started working on it immediately. And essentially overnight, we designed the vaccine that you can see here. The next step then is to put that into manufacture. So let's go and have a look at that now. Right. So here we are, Tulip, in the plasmid manufacturing lab. So what you can see here is that we've taken the DNA medicine, the plasmid, and now we've added it to bacteria. And the incubators in the back, you can see the bacteria growing, and also in these flasks that you can see on the bench top here.
It's a very musty smell, isn't it?
Very smelly. You do get used to it after a while. So the next stage will be to purify the DNA from the bacteria. That will give us a pure product, then can be used for preclinical testing, which is going to start this week. And we hope to get the final product into human testing by early summer.
Okay, Kate Broderick from Inovio, thank you very much for telling us about that. Well, as you heard there, the hope is to get this into human trials in record time by the early summer. There are a number of international pharmaceuticals that are doing similar work. It's unclear, of course, how long this outbreak in China is going to continue for, but it is hoped that they will have a vaccine in time to help people in this outbreak. Tulip Mazumdar, BBC News, San Diego.